Yeah. So I work for SSH Communications Security. So we are a Finnish cybersecurity software company. I've been here for 10 years and I'm responsible for the EMEA region. So everything that's client facing comes under my remit. So account management, business development, sales, services, support, and although we have a separate marketing team, I'm heavily involved in the marketing as well. Yeah, so we're quite a small company, so we're like 150 people globally. Although but our customer base is the lower end of enterprise and mid to large companies. We have a lot of like very large enterprise customers as well, but typically where we're trying to target are those mid to large companies, say from about 500 employees up to a few thousand, and then the main sectors that we are targeting are companies that are typically they're very tech focused, so their technology is a competitive advantage for them. So companies like fintech companies, technology driven hedge funds, e-tail, gaming, betting websites, things like that. That's where we have a real sweet spot. So that the companies that are really technology advanced, but also in a highly regulated markets that need secure access solutions. Yeah, so what we do for before you working with Trueleads, we would still go to quite a lot of events. So we go to like physical events where we meet potential customers, and that gives us an opportunity to demo. Then we also have inbound leads. So if we do, for example, any web-based adverts or search engine optimization ads or LinkedIn ads, they will typically direct people to our website, and then that'll generate MQLs, and then those MQLs were typically followed up quite manually, typically by our sales people. So they'd basically get an MQL, they'd try to follow them up via email. Quite often we wouldn't have their phone number, and we also didn't have anything that connected to them via LinkedIn. So that was kind of what brought us to working with Trueleads, because what I wanted to do was I felt that as a business we were missing opportunities and leads because we had a manual process. It wasn't automated, it wasn't systematic, and it also didn't cover like email, phone, and LinkedIn. And I think that's, if you have an inbound lead, you should basically have a very systematic, automated process that you have several email touch points, several phone touch points, and a couple of LinkedIn contacts, so that you make sure that lead is followed up completely. So that's kind of why we started working with Trueleads, because we wanted to really improve our data enrichment of the contacts, but also have an automation process around LinkedIn. When we first started, we had a look at some competitors like HeyReach, but I think once we had kind of spoke like directly to yourself, Tom, we kind of had a good understanding of what Trueleads could bring us, and we were like quite happy to trial it out as a pilot for like the first year. So we did have like a kind of a cursory look at the competition. I think why do we chose you, or why we chose you? I think it was the generally like the added level of service that you get from working with Trueleads. Not so much any hesitation. My main concern was, how do we scale this up? So we were taking it on like as a pilot for like one user, but we wanted to have a solution that would be able to scale up and where we would get like quite good return on investment. That was my main concern. Like, so, you know, because it's with marketing and business development, it's quite easy to drop a lot of cash on various activities without actually getting like really measured return on investment. So my main concern was like, how do we show value for money quickly on this? Yeah. Process. I think it's been pretty good. So we basically had we started off with I feel like quite a basic use case. So we were originally using Trueleads for when a lead comes in. It has an automated workflow so that contact is connected to actually via my LinkedIn account. And that happens like in parallel with the outbound email that goes from our account managers. And then we also had, so that was like one kind of automated process that we set up. And then when we go to events, quite often we'll know the attendees that are going to that event. So we were able to use those attendee lists and then connect to those attendees over LinkedIn prior to going to the event, and then basically say to them, like, you know, come and see us at our stand. So that actually worked quite well. So we'd quite often go to, particularly on the events that we don't normally go to, if we're new to it, we would have like people come to the stands and hi, like, you know, we've been talking over LinkedIn. So that was actually something that worked, I felt, quite well. With regard to like the thing that we were having a bit of a problem with was, if someone comes onto our website and doesn't leave a phone number and we contact them on email, it's like how can you get in contact with them via phone? So we used an integration with Trueleads and Clay to basically do data enrichment of those contacts, and then that allowed us to basically cover all bases. So we were able to contact people via email, via phone. It's not like 100%, but it's much higher than it was. So previously we would have maybe 20% where we would get the phone number, but now we're like above 50% on getting phone numbers. So that's something that actually did really improve in terms of our being able to get meetings booked, because that's, for me, that's where the sales really get engaged once you have that kind of initial first meeting. And it is quite hard to get that booked because everybody is generally so busy these days, like they're nearly always on Teams meetings or things like that. So getting those meetings booked is actually, I think, in today's environment, actually really difficult. So Trueleads definitely helped us with that. I think almost immediately for the basic use cases. So it took us like a couple of months to get like set up, and then we had we were able to kind of promote events through Trueleads, so that we were already kind of getting good results from that. Getting it integrated with our CRM system took a bit longer, just because there's like integration coding that need to happen. But that, I would have thought that would took like a couple of months, and then following on from that, we're now using it like more for outbound targeted campaigning. So, and then the integration with Clay to get to do the data enrichment on phone numbers. I think we started that at maybe about like 6 months or nearly a year after working together, and then that took a couple more months. So all in all, like I think over the past probably like about a year or so to get all of our use cases covered off. So one of the things, I mean, this isn't like directly related to Trueleads, but in EMEA, where in our company, we're a global company, and where our sales is split geographically into Americas, EMEA, and APAC. So in EMEA, we've started this process of automating the follow-up of leads. So we've definitely seen a marked improvement in our sales account managers actually getting meetings booked automatically, and also the leads that come through like actually having like deals related to them. That's also increased. I don't know if we've got any actual like metrics on like the percentage of increase, but certainly the sales team, I can see that they're having like a much better traction on getting like those initial meetings from MQLs compared to last year. So it allows us to promote over LinkedIn. So if we're going to an event, it allows us to basically connect to those people over LinkedIn. It allows us to have an automated process for follow-up that covers both like email, phone, and LinkedIn. It allows us to do data enrichment of contacts that come in. So that whole automation piece, if we didn't have something like Trueleads, we would only have it partially covered. The other thing as well is when we want to do a targeted campaign to a specific ideal customer profile, where we want to target a specific sector and a specific role. So we can basically use like a Sales Navigator to identify those contacts. Then we can put those contacts into our CRM, and then we can basically push a campaign that's multi-channel. So we can basically do an email sequence, a LinkedIn sequence, and a phone and a telemarketing sequence to them in parallel. So I think if we stopped, we would have less ability to promote our events that we're going to. We would have to rely solely on email and phone, and quite often phone's difficult. So I think we would typically have like a much worse lead follow-up response, and I think it's difficult to find that balance between doing professional business development follow-up and harassing people, and you always want to make sure you're on the right side of that. But I think having this in place kind of means that we're very much in control of like how many times we'll contact someone, and if they respond back to us, then they don't get a continued follow-up and things like that. So it allows us to kind of control the whole process really well. So I think if we didn't do it, essentially we would be doing the same thing, but it'd be less automated, more manual. We'd have leads that were missed, and you wouldn't have like the ability to do like the data enrichment and automated LinkedIn. So if I would say anyone who's running sales or business development, and if you have an organization that you're basically trying to do direct outbound campaigning, and you want to automate your inbound leads so that you can effectively have like a really clean process for when you get a lead, you want to make sure that you've tried every opportunity to connect with that potential customer. So anyone who's running a sales organization that's doing outbound but also like manages inbound leads. I think when we looked at doing it, it's if you've got time to spend getting things set up and like learning it all yourself, and if you've got resource to do that, okay, fine. But I think from my perspective, I wanted to have more of a service and also more of a getting it up and running quickly and getting results quickly. That was the main thing. So I would say those are the main factors that I would say made us choose Trueleads.